Welcome to Back to the Feature, your new film review show on DCTV. On this week's show, we'll be taking a look at the latest Kevin James movie, Here Comes the Boom. We'll also be looking at Argo, the latest film directed by Ben Affleck. Also on the show, we'll be having interviews, we'll have a film from the Film Archive, and we'll be keeping you up to date on film-related events in Dublin with our film calendar. First up this week is the new Kevin James comedy, Here Comes the Boom. It tells the story of a high school teacher who has to raise money to keep the school's music program going.
I guess it was unrealistic to think that anybody would show up when everybody has their own problems.
You showed up.
You shut up!
I said you showed up.
So what exactly is the plan?
Well, first off, we gotta get $48,000. That's a definite. Then we should probably help save Marty's job.
I can see that you put a lot of thought into it.
Well, how about this?
How about we work out a plan, but we do it in a controlled area, which is my apartment.
Not a chance.
Okay, you're making me work at this. I understand. I get it. What if I dunk this ball in that hoop? Then you have dinner with me at my house Friday night. What do you say?
You dunk a basketball? Please.
Fine. Then take the bet.
Deal. Where are you going? Oh, no. Come on, that's cheating.
Oh, no, it's not.
No, that's not what I...
Dreams are about to come true.
Nightmares.
That go in?
Eric, what did you think of the film?
Well, Ed, in my humble opinion, I would say that it's still evident that there is lazy screenwriters in America.
Oh yeah.
It's absolutely atrocious. It was really bad.
Yeah, I have to say, comedy, in inverted commas, it was
That's funnier than the film.
Yeah, one of the unfunniest things I've ever sat through in the cinema, I have to say. I thought it was appalling. Maybe I laughed once throughout a film billed as a comedy. Not good. Mike?
Yeah, it wasn't a good film. There was a couple of laughs in it, like, I think you guys have been a little bit hard on it.
Well, I laughed at the end because I was really happy that it was over.
Yeah, but in all fairness though, lazy screenwriting, really cliched and corny.
Very formulaic.
Yeah, very formulaic. The orchestral music, as anything positive happened in the film, it really was drivel.
I think personally, right, speaking that it's gonna just fall blank with Irish audiences because it's definitely pro-American.
As the credits start to roll at the end, we hear a voiceover of one of the guys, and he goes, "I love America." It happens in the credits, like it's crazy.
Just in case they didn't nail
Just in case they didn't,
What's wrong with that?
It was so cliched and so corny that there was nothing surprising in it. You knew what was going to happen from very, very early on in the film. Yeah. And then it was like lazy cliche after lazy cliche. And then even the kind of things that were supposed to be emotionally uplifting were cringeworthy. Like we see the kids end up showing up at the end to cheer him on, and they sing him out as he runs.
We didn't care about the kids anyway. Like, you know, we barely even got to know them.
Well, that's the whole
we didn't care about any relationships, actually.
Yeah. I mean, there was absolutely no concern for this chap in the fighting ring when he was getting the head boxed off. You knew what was going to happen in the end regardless. There was absolutely nothing new brought to the table with this film. It was awful.
Henry Winkler was good in it, I thought.
The Fonz.
Yeah, he was good. But like about half hour into that, even then, like, you know, I think they'd run out of fresh stuff for Henry Winkler's character anyway.
The jokes that the jokes employed actually, as far as making people laugh, and even the delivery, I found quite flat. You know what I mean? There was no real enthusiasm for the lines that they were saying, and there was no moments really that made me laugh. One arse crack that really was that got a giggle from the other side of the cinema, that kind of triggered a bit of.
I got that guy's name.
When they were having the staff meeting at the start. It was funny when that other character, the other teacher, was sitting next to him.
Yeah, and shuffled.
And he shuffled over.
All right, but this is for
5 minutes into the movie.
For a comedy.
2-second gag.
For a comedy, that's 2 seconds, and then I said maybe 2 seconds later on. But most of the jokes fell very, very flat, didn't they?
The film went on for an hour and 45 minutes. That is a long time not to be laughing. I thought the usage of immigrants in it as well was pretty questionable.
Borderline racist.
Apparently they're all thick.
Yeah, no, they certainly were.
No, they're relying on the American to help
get them through their night classes, and
to inspire them and what have you.
That Dutch guy,
He was the
guy.
trainer, the MMA trainer.
I haven't seen him before.
I haven't seen him before either, but you won't see him again after that performance,
awful,
I don't think.
Yeah.
Hey! Oh, relax. Relax.
Hey, why would you pass on the UFC?
You're not ready for a fight like this.
You realize we're $6 grand away and the semester's almost over?
It's too dangerous.
Yeah, but this could be one and done.
Hey, the UFC's the real deal, all right? It's big time. There's no broken cages or chickens running around.
Okay, you know what? I gotta be honest. I don't see what the problem is.
Oh, yeah, okay. You know the problem? The problem is we're the same age, and I can kick your...
Maybe we should, You know, he's up. He's okay.
The acting though, but like that's the the level, on every level it was really bad. There was really poor performances. It was really lazy stereotypes. Like even the dedicated Asian student, like the one person in the class who was actually doing any work. Yeah. It was amazing.
Yeah, I'd say Kevin James is quite likable though, isn't he?
Well, this is if you read any of the online reviews or anything, this is what sold the film. They said that's his best performance in a feature to date. That he carried the film, but
they're using this as an inspirational story, an inspirational story. You know, it'll inspire you to go on to do better things in your life and for other people around you and all that. And it's like,
but if you buy into that kind of twee inspirationalism, like it's really, what would you say? They pour it on really thick, and it just becomes kind of really cringeworthy. Like all the moments where there was inspirational things happening. The orchestral score comes up and on, and like, it's kind of
that was inspiring me to go up and walk to the toilet.
I'm not like defending the movie. I would say that it's maybe not as bad as you make it out.
Yeah. Well, I have to say, I said this before. There's been 2 films ever that I actually wanted to walk out of in the cinema, like without giving them, honestly, that I had seen enough come half an hour in or something. And one was that Here Comes the Boom, and one was Johnny English. And they were both
one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
Yeah,
it's the worst comedy I've seen since Paranormal Activity 4.
I've seen a lot worse movies than that.
Come on then, come on, knock yourself out, Mike. What was worse?
Okay. I'm trying to think of 3. That one that Adam Sandler did with Jennifer Aniston there a couple of years ago.
Okay.
Well, that's not fair if you're bringing Adam Sandler into it.
All 3 are going to have Sandler.
And Alan Fredis, this was a Happy Madison production, so that's Adam Sandler's production house. There we go.
What was that thing, Grown Ups with Chris Rock and Sandler again?
Yeah, Sandler again. He's
Sandler again,
one of the main culprits of this kind of thing.
Actually, I think Kevin James is in that too.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, Grown Ups, yeah.
Is Kevin James in that as well?
Is, yeah. Oh, yeah. Jesus. And one more. You can say Johnny English as well if you want. That was really, really
good. Johnny English. See, I wouldn't.
as well.
I draw the line somewhere.
Jesus. Yeah. What? Grown-ups.
Anyway.
I know. Death at a Funeral.
Death at a Funeral.
One of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I haven't seen it. Eric, I have to say, I haven't seen much worse now, in all fairness. It's just in every level. I haven't found anything so unfunny. And then when there were supposed to be laughs, when there was actual gags, I got defensive. I was like, that is brutal. Yeah. Like, it's so bad. And it was delivered with so little enthusiasm. And Salma Hayek.
Oh
my God, what a waste. Yeah. Oh, she had nothing to do. She had 0 chemistry with Kevin James, it has to be said.
No, certainly nothing believable anyway.
No, and the scene where they do start to hit it off, you're just like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. It was unreal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty poor.
Yeah. Anyway, so should we give this film marks out of 10?
Can we go into minus?
Can we go into minus? Mike?
9.5 out of 10. No, you couldn't give it more than 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
Give it a few marks for Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
And Kevin James is likable enough, so give it a little bit more. Just the fact that Salma Hayek was in it, even though she wasn't any good. But just the fact that they got her into that movie is amazing.
It's a bit of a coup. I thought, like, whose agent, how did she get into that film? But yeah, they got her an extra point for Salma Hayek being in the film.
I'll give her 1 point for Salma Hayek then.
1
out of 10.
1 out of 10 for Mary.
1 out of 10.
Absolutely. If I was at home looking at it on DVD, I would have turned her off.
And I'm going to go and actually give it a naught. Naught out of 10. I didn't enjoy it at all. I actually really wanted to leave, and it was just on every level. The script writing was awful. It was so cheesy. It wasn't funny. So no, not out of 10. I wouldn't recommend anybody go and see it unless you are brain dead.
Started making films when I was a kid, one of the greatest buzzes was always like, say you made a little film with your friends and you brought it into the classroom in school, and if you got people laughing, it was kind of addictive. Like, you'd kind of want to make another film. And so sometimes, like, I remember around that time, like, I'd made a few horror films and everyone was laughing, and then I made like kind of a serious drama, and it was just like no one was interested, you know. And it was probably almost at that point I finally went, okay, you know what I mean. I kind of went, well, I'm not making another one of them. You know what I mean. Kids are being brats and they're ruining all his party tricks, and then the clown comes back a few years later to get revenge on these kids, and I suppose the joke is he kills them in the ways they ruined his tricks. So if the kid bursts his balloon animals, he kind of makes balloon animals out of his intestines. We try to avoid the CGI because I suppose like that's one of the things that would kind of annoy me sometimes in horror films, you know, where it's just on the computer. There's something, again, it's just more fun as well when you're on the day, like, and you have like fake heads, and that's part of the reason I sort of got involved in film and stuff. It's like the special effects, the makeup, you know, that part is kind of fun for me. It's a sort of a shame to leave it to a post-production person, you know what I mean, and let them have the fun, you know. Yeah, I mean, definitely, but this was a sort of a throwback to the 80s, like the film, even in the tone of the film. I guess the main influences, I suppose there's an elements of Nightmare on Elm Street there, or even the later Nightmare on Elm Streets, where, you know, and I mean, the films would have influenced me early on would have been like Evil Dead 2, like the Sam Raimi film. And like that was the first time I saw horror and comedy kind of in the one film. And obviously Peter Jackson's early films like Brain Dead, Bad Taste, those kind of movies. So yeah, they would have been sort of floating around in my head. The idea of the clown killing people, it sort of all fit. Like it was an easy fit. Like, you know, people immediately got that it was funny, that it's sort of playing for laughs. It fed into the sort of elaborate death scenes and all that kind of thing. So initially the clown thing just worked for the comedy horror genre. What makes clowns scary to people, I'm not quite sure. Well, I've had this debate for anyone who's even worked on the film. It's like, is it the painted on smile? Is it, you know, there is something kind of creepy about them.
Everybody happy?
Well, I've always liked his stand-up, and I think it was probably that mad hair that he has. Do you know what I mean? You just kind of go, oh, there's something clownish about him. And like I didn't even realize till after, like until we were shooting, like we'd cast him and he came down and he was like, oh, I used to be a clown. He's a massive horror fan, which I didn't know as well. So he'd like know all these movie references, and he'd kind of like, do you know what I mean? We could kind of go, oh, I like that bit in whatever that horror film was. You know what I mean? He'd be as geeky as me about horror films. The minute he put the clown shoes on, for example, his walk changed. So he kind of was worked that in. And then when he had the makeup on, he'd kind of start to figure out how he'd move or the costume. And so it was one of these things that it wasn't immediate when he came over to how it was going to be played or how it would work. But it was one of those things that it took almost to get on set and in the gear and all the costume and everything. And then it sort of developed. So as we shot the film, we were kind of figuring stuff out as we went.
Sniff 'em out.
The scene that was going to be the biggest issue was the scene where a cat gets like killed, and which is funny. It's like you can do anything to humans, you know, cut them up, you know, blow their heads up, whatever. But like touch a cat, like, and you know. I would say I'll be more inclined to stick within horror, but probably explore other areas of it, like maybe do like a full-on scary movie, or you know what I mean, or that kind of thing. But it's definitely it's more, I don't know why, it's more like if I try to write a drama, I just like, I don't get any ideas. But if I kind of go, how would I kill someone? I'll just, you know, boom pole, whatever. Like, I don't know, like ideas sort of come into my head when I think about the horror genre. So so it's easier for me to do.
Our second film this week is Ben Affleck's latest film, Argo. It's set in the early 80s and tells the story of a group of American diplomats trapped in the Canadian embassy in Tehran.
Aliens and robots?
Yes, sir.
You're telling me that there is a movie company in Hollywood right now that is funded by the CIA?
Yes, sir.
What's wrong with the bikes again?
We tried to get the message upstairs, sir.
You think this is more plausible than teachers?
Yes, we do. One, there are no more foreign teachers in Iran.
And we think everybody knows Hollywood people. And everybody knows they'd shoot in Stalingrad with Pol Pot directing if it would sell tickets. There are only bad options. It's about finding the best one.
You don't have a better bad idea than this?
This is the best bad idea we have, sir. By far.
The United States government has just sanctioned your science fiction movie.
Thank you, sir.
This is another example of American patriotic filmmaking, but much, much better, lads. Eric.
Yeah, a lot better. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Thought it was really well made.
That's it.
But that's it. Next, Ben Affleck did a great job there with directing. Like his other two films, The Town and Gone Baby Gone, I really, really enjoyed, and this one wasn't any kind of a disappointment at all. I thought it was just as good as them. Really,
Yeah,
you know,
I think
albeit a different kind of story now, obviously, but
he's really found his feet as a director. I mean, the three films he's done so far, I mean, they've reviewed really, really well. Personally, I really enjoyed them. I thought Gone Baby Gone was a brilliant film, and this is just like some of the detail and just the technicalities of it are perfect. Cinematography, some of the archive stuff mixed with the current stuff. It's really, really
it's
good.
practically flawless.
Yeah.
The look of him was fantastic. They really nailed the era. It's fantastic looking.
Yeah, well, didn't they show at the end? We do see a montage where they compare the actual stills from back in the day to the recreation, and it's almost perfect.
Flawless,
well, it is flawless. Yeah,
it is flawless. It's fantastic looking. I think I heard somewhere that Affleck was looking to get kind of like All the President's Men kind of look off the
similar
film,
look,
that similar look. Yeah. Kind of documentary kind of feel about it, wasn't it? It was a strange film though. I mean, halfway through, when they start hitting the Hollywood end of things, when they've come up with this idea that they're going to be a film crew in Iran. They pose themselves as a film crew in Iran to break out these lads. It almost went satirical, nearly, and funny.
But it was like a caper movie. It was sort of like Ocean's 11 or 12 there for a few minutes.
There was the right balance, though.
Yeah, it was strange. I mean, it was playing with fire, though. I thought, it was, it could have really come across as very uneven.
Could have, but he did it. It was written so well that it worked perfectly.
You had to hold the reins there. He did a really good job in it now, because it was. I was thinking for a few minutes during the film, geez, are we starting to go off the tracks here? Like, you know what I mean? But he did mix it quite well. He did, you know what I mean. Of course, he might have been just being very realistic about Hollywood,
Yeah, well, I think that those moments that we said we've just reviewed a comedy earlier on, but the moments that were funny in Argo were much funnier. They were very, very genuinely funny, and they have a great cast. Like Alan Arkin steals the show at whatever scene he's in.
Alan Arkin always steals the show.
And John Goodman, of course, as a foil for him is great as well.
Brilliant. Yeah,
but it's a great story, and it has to say he keeps the tension. It's quite a tense affair, and he does keep that tension right to the end.
A lot of people know the outcome going into the film, what the full story is, but you still can't help getting gripped with the story, and it is exciting, genuinely exciting.
Towards the end, the airport scene, exactly what's going to happen, but man,
yeah, it was really good.
Gripped to the seat.
Well good, yeah. It was really well done. No, people may have certain reservations about the end regarding all the dramatics, of the Iranians running to try and.
How much of that is dramatic license, I suppose.
Exactly, but it doesn't. I mean, at that stage, it didn't matter. It was really, really enjoyable.
I bought into it all anyway.
Yeah, it was
the only thing I kind of questioned was the intro with the animated intro, which was really nice, but it didn't really tie in with the rest of the feel of the movie. Like, remember they had the little brief history of.
The conflict.
Yeah. Which is done really well. And then it just kind of ended and it carried on, but it just felt like there was
Yeah, I know what you
really,
mean.
it was a totally different style to the rest of
A
the
lot
movie.
of American films tend to do that when they're trying to explain things to the
Then
average American.
You have to put it in
an interesting
cartoon.
way to let us all know, because none of us really knew the history.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was a good way to get everyone up to speed on what was
that
happening.
kind of thing happening. You know, The Kingdom, when Jamie Foxx did the exact same thing, give you a brief history at the beginning of where exactly are, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only thing is to do that. I mean, this is being really harsh because the movie's almost perfect. But I'm just saying that maybe they could have found a way to do the same thing, but to do it within the same kind of style as the rest of the movie.
Yeah, but that's true. The fact that it was animated was maybe, well, I didn't know if
Even
it jarred. I
could have
mean,
been
it was a
animated,
good
it was-
explanation though. And I thought, you know, for a movie that was quite patriotic, I actually liked the perspective that they gave of it. You mean, they certainly didn't
no, he's fair,
leave
all right,
America
yeah.
blameless or anything in that. You know what I mean? They certainly pointed the finger at American policies as far as creating the situation that arose.
Where was your passport issued?
Vancouver.
Where were you born?
Toronto.
Toronto. Canadians don't pronounce the T.
Some Comite guard is actually going to know that.
If you're detained for questioning, they will bring in someone who knows that. Yes. Mary, who were the last 3 prime ministers of Canada?
Trudeau, Pearson, and Diefenbaker.
What's your father's name?
Howard.
What's his occupation?
Fisherman.
Where were you born?
Halifax, Nova Scotia.
What's your date of birth?
February 21st, 1952.
Good. What's your job on the movie?
Producer.
Associate producer. What was the last movie you produced?
High and Dry.
Who paid for that?
CFDC.
What's your middle name? What's your middle name? What's your middle name?
Leon?
Shoot him. He's an American spy. Look, they're gonna try to break you, okay? By trying to get you agitated. You have to know your resume back to front.
You really believe your little story is going to make a difference when there's a gun to our heads?
I think my story is the only thing between you and a gun to your head.
Yeah.
Maybe
These kind
they
of new age filmmakers like Ben Affleck and stuff, they seem to have a more realistic
political sort of.
Yeah, well, it's
so-
quite, well, hopefully, touch wood, it's basically like when the 70s came about, like the golden age of filmmaking, if you ask me, in America, where the likes of Alan J. Pakula made All the President's Men and The Parallax View, and films like this started asking questions about you know, contemporary society and what have you. That hopefully the likes of Affleck will have, you know, the same kind of effect on film, like, you know what I mean.
This is his first kind of political
I was about
movie,
to say
isn't
that,
it?
although his last 2 films were crime films based on fiction. I mean, hopefully, you know, he'll start delving more into more non-fictional territory, because he did it really well.
I think he's found it. Like,
Really?
I thought Gone Baby Gone was very good.
Yeah.
But the second one, The Town, you know,
Not
I
as
didn't
good as
think that
Gone
was
Baby
up
Gone.
to-
It wasn't as
that
good
was-
as Gone Baby
that
Gone.
was like
Well, it was
not
just a
quite as good
heist. It was a heist
Yeah,
movie,
but
wasn't
it?
it?
Like
Like,
before, like
yeah.
Heat was just a better version of that movie.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
so I
I
felt.
still thought that it was a really well done film anyway, The Town. But
It was,
by
I
no
enjoyed it
means,
thoroughly, yeah, but-
by no means it was as good as Gone Baby Gone.
But these two now,
But-
you would have to
but
say you put
man,
Argo right up there
was
with
really good.
with
Very
Gone
enjoyable.
Baby. Really good movie. Like, I don't know, we won't mark it just yet.
Yeah, no, it's better than the previous two. I mean, he's really this is a
The opening
top
sequence
class movie.
with in the embassy with the Iranians protesters breaking in was just fantastic.
Yeah,
Oh,
well, as he said,
brilliant.
he really, every scene where there was tension, the tension was kept impeccably high, and you actually always were concerned for the characters. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Where we said, say, in the last movie we talked about, you never cared less about any of the characters that we've seen. In this film, right from the start, these characters were likable, they were, you
And
know,
there was
you
a
were
lot
concerned.
of them too, you know,
Yeah.
to get you to care about, like, there was 6 of them, was it? Or no?
Yeah, it was 6.
Six, yeah, because no, him and 5, was it? Him and 5, the 2 couples, and, oh no, yeah, 6, sorry, you're right, yeah. 7 came out.
So yeah, that's 6 characters to get you, you know, empathetic with straight away.
Yeah.
Which he manages to do.
It is,
And the sense of fear in it was very authentic. It was,
Yeah.
You know, there was generally danger there, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that scene going through the protest in the van was really, really well done, you know?
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
tension there was palpable, like,
Yeah.
you know, it was brilliant, really well shot.
It's nice because they're just everyday, ordinary characters, you know. So you can really relate to the kind of fear that they'd be experiencing in that situation.
Yeah, and we just talk a little bit, I suppose, just as the characters that and the actors that he used to inhabit the film. Like, it got a brilliant supporting cast. As we
Brilliant,
mentioned Alan Arkin earlier on, John Goodman,
yeah.
but also there's plenty more. I can't think of the guy's name out of Breaking Bad now. Bryan Cranston, who's been brilliant, it has to be said. He's had a real revival in his career. You know what I mean? He's really like
It's
since
not even a revival because he was only in bits and
pieces, I suppose.
You know, a bit of Seinfeld and I don't know why, until he got Malcolm in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle, though. It's
He's
amazing that
brilliant
he's
in
gone
Malcolm
from
in the Middle.
Malcolm in the Middle, though, to Breaking Bad, which was a huge
Yeah.
critical success, and now his movie
But
career is really...
in Malcolm in the Middle, you could see this guy's a really good actor. You know, he's
Yeah, he was the best in it, in Malcolm in the Middle anyway, wasn't he? The father, he was brilliant in it. He was.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a really good actor, and he was very good in it. John Goodman, Alan Arkin, as you said, but Ben Affleck even was all right in it.
I think he's a good actor.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Whoa, controversial, Mike.
You've seen him in that, he's good. Like, very believable.
He did his job.
Very
I mean,
believable, yeah.
Like, the beard looked great.
He really rocked that beard.
I think he needs to write the right role, so I wouldn't say he's got a great range.
Yeah.
But, you know,
No,
like
but that's
in
what
the
I'm
likes
saying.
of Good Will Hunting.
I think he knew
he's
what,
very good as well.
Yeah, I think he knows what his
He knows,
powers
he's
are.
found his niche now.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to his next film anyway, you know, wherever it may be, because he's definitely making a name for himself. As
I think he's going to be one of those guys who you look forward to his next movie.
And
like
what he's
Clint
as
Eastwood
well,
or
you would
something.
have to say that he seems to get really good performances from the actors that he's working with, and maybe that's from being an actor himself. You know, even like his Casey in Gone Baby Gone, it's a brilliant performance.
Ed Harris.
Yeah,
Ed Harris, fantastic in Gone Baby Gone.
And even in The Town, what is the name of the chap?
Jeremy Renner.
Yeah, Jeremy Renner. Yeah, really, really good in that film as well. So he does seem to be able to drag those performances out of people.
Yeah, he can't drag it out of himself. I know he was quite. He was good.
He did his job,
He
and
was
like even in the Hollywood scenes, he kind of excelled himself, didn't he? Where he kind of rocks in, you know, into these parties and things like that, and he fits the bill, doesn't he?
Yeah. No, he was good in it. He was good in it. There was. I mean, I can't complain about his performance in it at all. Really, you know,
he was the lead, and he carried the movie really well.
Yeah. So marks out of 10 for Argo.
I think I give it a 9. It's I feel a bit harsh taking any points off it, but you kind of have to in one or two places. Maybe the animation at the start didn't mesh together as well as that intro might have done if they'd chosen a slightly different route. Ben Affleck as the lead, I do think he's a good actor, but maybe he was a bit generous giving himself the lead in that movie. I think his ability as a director might be better than his ability as an actor. Maybe he might have found someone better to play the role. And there's one or two cheesy moments in it with the kid.
I think if we see a couple of flags in the background a few times as well.
Well, was
you
the
know
Stars and Stripes?
You know that scene where like the idea comes and he's talking to the kid on the phone and he's like, "Oh, what channel are you watching? Are you watching Star Wars or whatever it was?" Like, "Oh." These moments that just a little
on the cheesy side.
Yeah. So yeah, Doc at 1 point, but 9 out of 10 still one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Eric?
Yeah, I'm going with Mike, 9 out of 10. Great screenplay, great editing, great acting. The cinematography was fantastic.
Yeah, it's a beautiful looking film. As you said, the period stuff that they got and the recreations that they did were absolutely, as you said, flawless, great stuff.
You can see the work went into it. It's fantastic looking. So I'm giving it 9 out of 10, dropping 1 for Ben's beard.
And as I said, Mike, I find it really hard not to give it nearly a full 10 out of 10. It's probably the best movie of that kind that I've seen, as far as even a historical recreation. The way they kept the tension so high, the performances were excellent, the film looked fantastic, and I was just really invested in it from the get-go. So I mean, I can't a 9 out of 10 for me, and certainly recommend that anybody goes and see it. It's definitely one of the best films of the year, and I'd say it'll be definitely in contention when the Oscars come around.
I think so. On a number of levels.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's Argo.
Never have I ever drank so much I blacked out.
Never have I ever dated someone that's older than me.
Never have I ever kissed a stranger.
Oh,
bold. Never have I ever kissed someone I didn't like.
Never have I ever farted and blamed it on my pet.
Okay, I got one. Never have I ever brutally murdered someone.
this week's film from the Film Archive is 1992's Unforgiven. It stars Clint Eastwood and won Best Director and Best Picture at the Oscars. Eric, a modern classic.
Absolutely, Ed.
Yeah. And it was one of the best westerns that was made, I think, in about 20 or 30 years. And
Definitely,
really
brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
I think a better one's been made since, is it?
I don't think a better one's been made since. I mean, I think what year was Dances with Wolves, which got critical acclaim and won a few Oscars as well.
Before that, 1990.
Yeah.
That was the one recently there by the Coen Brothers, True Grit.
True Grit, yeah.
That would be up there maybe, but
yeah, I didn't like the remake as much as a classic.
As good as that now, in all fairness. I enjoyed it, but I didn't think it was as good as that.
And I preferred the John Wayne original of True Grit.
You always gang
hell
up
you
on
do. What's it?
We always gang up on you, Mike. Yeah. I just didn't like the new version of True Grit that much. But anyway, Unforgiven.
Yeah, I heard. Anyway, Clint Eastwood had the rights to that story for a long time, hadn't he?
Yeah.
He was holding off until he got older.
Yeah.
Before he could make it, and I think he had a good 20 years or something.
Well, I think there's a very it's very much an anti-Western in a lot of ways. It's anti-violence. His character in this is kind of the opposite of William Money. In this is the opposite maybe of the likes of The Man with No Name from the Sergio Leone trilogy. Yeah. So it's kind of it was kind of billed as an anti-violence Western. You know what I mean? As much as that sounds funny.
Yeah, well, it's kind of hitting off like a lot of topics that Clint Eastwood's later stuff as the director has hit off, like, you know, Mystic River or whatever, you know, what murder, you know, the grief and pain that murder brings to people who are affected by it, and so on and so forth. And it definitely wasn't like a shoot 'em up Western that he had become known for. From say the 60s and 70s.
Yeah, his character, although towards the climax of the movie, he does revert to that.
Yeah, like why? How come he makes himself the hero when it is anti-violence? And okay, he's trying to be a better man or whatever, but at the end of the day, he is a deceitful guy. Like.
There's no, and the film only does resolve itself like, when he reverts back to the kind of the badass that he was.
Yeah.
In the olden days.
Why does he even deserve forgiveness in it? Like, you know.
I do think he's making a real effort. You know, in this story, his character has given up the drink, he's given up the guns, and he's trying to settle down with his family.
Yeah.
And he has tried to leave his past behind him, but as they say, your past, like a Coen Brothers team, is your past always comes back to kind of haunt you. Yeah. And then when he does go on this quest to kind of make money to keep his family going.
Yeah, it didn't take much for him to get going, though.
It didn't take much. No. But when the film comes to it does reach a dramatic conclusion. There's some terrific scenes, and maybe some of the best gunfighting scenes in any film that we've seen.
Yeah, I thought the gunfight at the end of it was fantastic. I remember the first time we seen that, when you know, they shoot up in the bar, and like Clint's character was really mean, wasn't he? You know. Do you know what I mean? I think he'd hit a meanness that he hadn't hit before.
Yeah, if you're into westerns, it's a definite must see, and even in films in general, it's almost a perfect movie, isn't it?
10 out of 10. Brilliant.
Yeah, I can not take any points off that movie.
Yeah, and me as well. 10 out of 10, and as I said, it's one of my favourites, one of my all-time favourite films. So go out and see it, or pick it up. As you said, it's our cheap DVD of the week.
Yeah.
Now it's this week's film calendar. First up, starting on the 14th of November, is the IFI's annual French Film Festival. The festival opens with Michael Haneke's extraordinary new film, Love. Juliette Binoche will also be in attendance for a screening of Sylvie Testu's Another Woman's Life, and Beatrice Dahl will introduce a rare screening of Betty Blue, as well as her latest Bye Bye Blondie. Check the IFI's programme for a full listing, and the festival runs till the 25th of November. The Beanbag Cinema runs throughout November and December and offers movie lovers a unique cinema-going experience. There will be screenings of classic, cult and recent film releases which you can enjoy from the comfort of your very own oversized beanbag. Venues include Clontarf Castle, the Harbour Master and the Morgan. Check out beanbagcinema.com for more details. That's it for this week's film calendar. If you've news of any film-related events that you'd like mentioned on the show, please send them into our email, details of which will appear at the end of the programme. Don't forget, you can contact us here at Back to the Feature with any film news or events you'd like mentioned on the show. And for any aspiring filmmakers, remember you can send your short films to us via a web link or on the on-screen address. See you next time on Back to the Feature.